Yeah, good morning. In the last class, we discussed regarding to the evaluation of management thoughts. While we're discussing regarding evaluation of management thoughts, we understood that there are four eras are there: pre-scientific management era, classical era, neoclassical era, and modern management era. We already discussed it regarding to the classical era, the two theories that which we already studied regarding to the Henry Fayol's 14 principle theory, F.W. Taylor scientific management theory. And after that, we have in a behavioral theories, and they are also known as in the motivational theories. That part we are talking on to the next aspect. Now we are talking regarding modern management era thought, modern management era theory that is called system approach to management. So the name itself indicate you systems approach to management. While I'm going to talk regarding to the systems approach to the management theory, I need to explain you what do you mean by the system. You know that system, it is a combination of interrelated components that try to achieve a common goal. This is the definition we are having. System, it is a combination of interrelated components that try to achieve a common goal, that is called a system. So usually, for example, you take your human body is a system. It is a combination of different organs, muscles, bones. No, we have any different parts are there, and all the parts are connected to each other to perform the different tasks by a human being. Similarly, in organization also, we have a different sort of organizational groups will be there. I mean to say that there are different sort of organizational departments will be there, and all these departments coordinatively and collectively they do a specified task. They are all work for a specified task. So when I'm talking regarding to the systems approach to management, I explained to you what is the system, and after that I need to tell you what are the types of systems. There are five type of systems we are having. One is an open system, closed system, cybernetic system, dynamic system, and adaptive system. When I say open system, it is a system which is have an interaction with the environment, that is called open system. I mean, sir, system we consist of the three part, that is called input, process, and output. They're called input, transmission, and output. Simple way: input, process, and output. So these are all called boundary. And beyond that, we are having that called environment system. It is having the two things: boundary and environment. Boundary that consists of the input, process, and output. And beyond that boundary, we call it environment. Open systems are those systems which have a connection with the environment. Beyond the boundary, they will work. That is called the environment. That's called open system. Closed system is the system which will run in within the boundary. That called input, process, and output. That called input, transmission, and output, which will be done into the closed environment. That is called the closed system. We have in a cybernetic system the system which is having a continuous change. I mean to say that where environment is having a dynamic environment which will change continuously, then it is a dynamic system or the cybernetic system. And open system, closed system, cybernetic system, and dynamic system, and adaptive system. When we say cybernetic system, the system which is having a continuous input, that is called the cybernetic system. We have an adaptive system. Adaptive systems are those systems which is succeed in somewhere else, where we are able to adapt for the organization, then it is called the adaptive system. But when you talk, when you have an idea of what is the types of systems, we are able to see the systems approach to the management. In the classical era and the neoclassical era, the classical era is basically concentrated on organization structuring and running the organization in a scientific manner. Neoclassical theory is basically concentrated onto the people, but the systems approach to the management, it is proposed based on having an interaction between the system and with the people. Then it is called system approach to the management. Now, the system approach management is used as an in the organization as an unified and purposeful system composed by the interrelated parts. This approach also gives the managers to see the organization as a whole, I mean, we don't say that people is separate, organization is separate, process is separate, and no, we don't see that the parts of the organization or elements of the organization is seen as a whole are interrelated. Then it is called the system approach to management. The system oriented managers would make the decisions only after they have identified the impact of these decisions on the other departments and the entire organization. I think you know very well this. When when a marketing manager takes a decision, it is having an impact onto the sale. Finally, it impact onto the production. It have an impact onto the finance. It have an impact onto the organization profitability. Similarly, if a finance manager takes a decision, it have an effect onto the other departments also. But for that, what we need to do, we need to we need to interlink all these departments as a whole, and based on that, we need to take a decision. If I take this decision, how it is affect onto the other parts, that we need to see. In the modern management, we are living on to this particular aspect that called systems approach to management. All the modern organizations are basically developed by having an interlink between the organizational elements. They must be intervene their department with the total organization, communicate with all the other department, employees, and each other. So when we integrate all the elements of the system, that's what I told you. System, it is a combination of interrelated components. Management is also a system. We have any different elements are there, are different departments are there. Elements are nothing but the different actors and different forces will be involved into the organization. So by integrating them, by integrating all these organizational components as a whole, and taking decision according to that, it's called the systems approach to management. Today, majority of the multinational companies are following the systems approach to the management. Actually, systems approach to management is proposed in the year 1960, and this theory was contributed by the Ludwig von Bertalanffy and Lawrence, M.J. Scott, and Kahn, and we say that called W. Bulkey, J.D. Thompson. These are all people are involved in the development of systems approach to the management. According to the systems approach, the organization is viewed as an open system. Why? Because organization is having a connection with the environment. It is not happens within inside the organization. The organizational tasks depends upon to the environmental tasks, environmental inputs, and whatever the input we got from the environment, we make the process, we generate an output, and output will be transmitted to the again to the environment. We have a feedback mechanism. So from the environment, again we get a feedback to the system, and system will take that input, again process output. It is a continuous process. That's what we are talking. It's in a management is an open system, and management. The systems approach to the management took upon the management as a system or as an organized whole, and made with the subsystems integrated into the unity of order of the totality. So we take into the totality of the system, that's called whole organizational aspects will be considered, and based on that the management take decisions. So systems approach is based on the generalization that everything is interrelated and interdependent. Already I told you, everything is interrelated. Every aspect and every element is interrelated and interdependent on the other functionality. So finance depends upon marketing, marketing depends on production, production depends upon material department is depends upon to the purchase department again linked to the finance department. So there are different departments are there, different entities are there, different subsystems are there. All these subsystems must be integrated through that the organizational goal will be achieved. So here a system is a simply assembling of combination of the things and parts of the form as a complex whole. So most of the organizations are most important characteristics that is composed in the hierarchy of the subsystems. I mean, I have an every system will have the subsystem. Every subsystem itself as a system, and it will have the subsystems. For example, you take your body, and if you take your face, face is a system. It is in having the different subsystems like eyes, nose, tongue, mouth, ears, as like that. And again you take eye, and eyes is having again is a system. It consists of the different subsystems, retina, and an eyeball, and as like that eyebrows are these are all comes under the different subsystems. So again, retina is having the system, and it consists of the subsystems. Similarly in the organization also, we have the different department. Every department will have will be a subsystem of the organization. Every department itself, it is a system. It consists of the number of subsystems. So we say for an organization, a department is a subsystem, division is a sub-subsystem, group is a sub-subsystem, individual is again as like that. It will drill down, and a hierarchy will be developed into the systems approach to the management. Now, if you see the features of a systems approach to the management, actually system, it consists of interacting elements. It is a set of interrelated and interdependent parts arranged in a manner that produce the unified as a whole. And it is having various subsystems, and it will be studied as in their interrelationship rather than the isolation from each other. Yes, that's what I'm telling you here. The organizational subsystems are viewed as an interrelationship, and it is not isolation. It is a dependent on each other. An organization system has a boundary that the department which parts are internal and which are external. So we have an organization. The organization is a system. It is having boundary, that is within the boundary is an internal. Outside the boundaries comes under the environment. A system does not create it's in a vacuum, does not exist in the vacuum. It is not in the air. It receives the information, material, energy from the systems as an input. Then these inputs will go to the transformation process, and within a system, and leave the system output to the other systems. I mean, we make a product, and this product may be the input to the other system, other production system, or this may be for the final consumer, or it may be for the consumption. So here, the last feature of systems approach to management is an organization is a dynamic system, and as it is in response to its environment, it is the vulnerable to change in its environment. Sir, I told you to do management is an open system. Yes, it is an open system, and as well as it is having the dynamic principles also. Management organizations will run in an environment, in a dynamic environment, where environment changes, it have an impact as a feedback onto the organization system. So finally, we can say organizations run in a systems approach orientation. System approach to management is integrating all the managerial functions, integrating all the elements of the organization for the attainment of a specified task or a specified goal. That is called the systems approach to the management. If you see the objective or the aim of is viewed in the organization as an open system. Chester Bernard is one author, and Chester Bernard is the first person who utilized the system approach to the field of the management. Chester Bernard is an human resource author and human resource practitioner, and he used it the first time the systems approach to management in the field of the management. It is already there as in technically, but in management, Chester Bernard is the first person who used of this. No, when we evaluate the systems approach to the management, it assists in studying. Systems approach management is assists in studying the functions and complex of the organization. There are so many complex issues are there into the organization. Actually, the systems approach to the management will assist as a function for studying of that complex processes. And not only that, it is a new kind of organization, like a project management organizations mostly use the systems approach to the management. In project management, the project, it consists of the number of modules and modules. Every module is dependent to the other module. So it is having interlink. That's what project management mostly will use the systems approach to the management. So here, the systems approach to the management, it have an interrelation in various functions like planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Actually, these 5 functions are the management. All the 5 functions are interrelated to each other. So finally, we can say systems approach to the management will make an edge over it is an edge over the other approaches. Compared to the other approaches, it is very near to the reality. So we the management practitioners, majority of the management practitioners are adapting the systems approach to the management towards of their organization, and they're using it is like a tool. But actually it is not a tool, it is an approach of the organization for the attainment of its goal. This is about the systems approach to the management, and we will see in the next session regarding the neoclassical theories or behavioral theories or motivational theories that are Maslow's hierarchical theory, and Herberg two-factor theory, X theory and Y theory. We are going to see into the next session. Have a nice day. See you.